Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. So I am in the airport right now. My flight just got delayed. I'm in LAX of all places on our way to Fresno, and there was some big news that just came out, obviously in the sprint car world, with Donny Schatz announcing that he will be driving for Big Game Motorsports as a teammate to David Gravel for the next 7 races on the World of Outlaws circuit. So if you hear some things going on in the background, somebody was just vacuuming behind me, and there's announcements going on about boarding and whatnot. Try to ignore that. I'm trying to get through this as best I can. I don't know how long this flight's going to be delayed, so we'll have to wait and see. But I wanted to give you guys some details on what the announcement said, as well as some things that I was able to find out here about who's working on the car and things like that as well. So it was announced on, what was that, yesterday? Or sorry, that was on Tuesday, that Donny Schatz and TSR are no longer together, and so just 2 days later we find out that he is going to be driving for what is arguably the best team in sprint car racing right now, with Todd Quiring as the owner, David Gravel as the driver. Of course, they just won the last World of Outlaws Sprint Car Championship, and they're currently leading the points right now. So we hear people talk about all the time, how hard is it to run a 2-car team? There are not many of them in existence in sprint car racing that are successful. I would say the most successful one, Casey Kane Racing, of course, and then I would say right after that, in the modern era of sprint car racing right now, would be Shark Racing, obviously, with Logan Schuchart and now Ashton Torgerson. So there's not many 2-car sprint car teams in existence. Now, this is not going to be for the rest of the year, of course. This is only for the next 7 World of Outlaws races, so it's not an insane undertaking by the team and Todd Quiring. But I feel like if you're going to have a car owner and a team to do a 2-car team, Todd Quiring is the guy to do it. He's got plenty of equipment, he's got plenty of funds and sponsors and all that good stuff to make the things happen. And you'll find out in just a few moments who will be working on the car as well, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering who is going to be crew chiefing the car. It will not be Cody Jacobs, the crew chief of the car. So we mentioned that Schatz will run the next 7 races. He will not finish the season as of right now. The next 7 races include Ogilvie, Minnesota, which is the next race on the schedule. It starts tomorrow on Friday. Then they'll go over to Jackson Motorplex, which is, of course, owned by Todd Quiring. Then on next Tuesday, they will be at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Minnesota. And then next weekend, Friday and Saturday, they head over to Schatz's homeland of North Dakota to run River Cities and Red River Valley Speedway. And then the weekend after that, they go over to Houston Speedway for a doubleheader as well. So 7 more races. The next 7 Outlaw shows, Donny Schatz will be there, which means he will continue his 1,600 consecutive race streak with the Outlaws. After that, I don't know, maybe they do really well and Todd Quiring says, screw it, let's just run him for the rest of the year. But as of right now, it is only for the next couple of weekends. Now, who will be working on the car? That is a very big question, because a lot of people said that maybe the decline and the bad season that they were having with Donny Schatz and TSR was due to the crew chief, that it was his first year being a crew chief on any type of sprint car. But the crew chief for this car will be Brad Alexander, and the other guy working on it, the car chief, will be Stephen Ham Riley, and Lanny Nichols will be jumping in as well to help those guys out if need be. So it sounds like it's mostly a two-guy team, with Lanny Nichols jumping in when he's available. And Lanny Nichols is a very good friend of Donny Schatz, has helped him out for a very long time. But Brad Alexander, that might not be a name that you're familiar with, but he has worked with Donny Schatz in the past at TSR when Steve Swinson was the crew chief there for a few years. Brad Alexander worked under Steve Swinson, and so him and Donny Schatz know each other very well. They went up and down the road together and ran a lot of races together. Brad Alexander was the crew chief of the Crouch Motorsports 11 when Buddy Kofoid drove the car, when Corey Eliason drove the car. They were able to win races together. They won an Outlaw show at Talladega. I think they won a couple of other, maybe one other Outlaw show, but definitely some All-Star shows as well. So Brad Alexander is a very good crew chief. He hasn't been doing much crew chiefing recently. He's been doing more shock work and things like that, but he got the call to help out Donny Schatz and Big Game Motorsports. Stephen Ham Riley, he was working with Brad Alexander when they were at the Crouch Motorsports 11 those years with Kofoid, and I think he was there with Eliason as well. Stephen Ham Riley texted me today and told me that he was the crew chief on Lucas Wolf's 5W, but after the Knoxville Nationals, they are no longer together, as now Stephen Ham Riley is going to be helping out with this effort with Donny Schatz and Big Game Motorsports. So I think they're in good hands as far as working on the car. Stephen Ham-Riley was a crew member of David Gravel's sprint car when they won the championship last year. So, I mean, this is a very experienced crew. They know what they're doing. Kind of a younger crew compared to maybe like they're not in their 40s. These guys are 20 and I think they're mid 20s. Maybe Brad Alexander, maybe 30 years old. So a relatively young crew here. Donny Schatz at these next 7 races. We mentioned what the tracks were. He's won at 4 of them. He's won at Jackson Motorplex. He's won, of course, at River Cities and Red River Valley, and he's won at Houston Speedway as well. So Donny Schatz is going to be running at some tracks that he knows very well. I am so glad that he was able to find a ride specifically for River Cities and Red River Valley. Both those tracks less than an hour and a half. Red River Valley is like right down the street from his house, and River Cities is maybe an hour or so away. So I think that was very important for him to run those races, and it does sound like his nieces are going to be planning on running both those races as well. So that's a very cool thing to have him in the race with his nieces making their outlaw debut. And so just a lot of cool things involved with that situation as well. Now, as for the car and the engine, not exactly sure what that situation is looking at right now, because we know that David Gravel runs Morrison engines. We know they run Maxim chassis. Donny Schatz for a long time now has usually been known as a J&J guy, J&J chassis, and then we know about the whole engine thing. We don't need to get more into that, but if they're running Morrison engines, obviously those are Chevys, and they're running Maxims, I think that's still a pretty darn good combo. We've seen David Gravel be very good in those cars here recently. So yeah, very interesting stuff here. A big announcement this week. I just never would have thought that we would see David Gravel and Donny Schatz as teammates. I feel like like I said earlier, Todd Quiring, I think he has no issues making this happen, and I'm very curious to see what the results will look like if they are going to run very well. Will it continue past 7 races? Will it continue into next year? I think that this is maybe the best place that Donny Schatz could have landed. I mentioned at the top of this video that David Gravel has been the best car, at least on the Outlaws, obviously, for about 2 years now. Won the championship. He's got 10-something wins this year. He's been a dominant force. So for Donny Schatz to come into this program right now, I think it is incredible timing, and I really hope they have success. I hope he wins the race this upcoming stretch. I think that would be incredible cinema if he could pull that off. So we'll have to wait and see how Donny Schatz does. We'll have to wait and see how Kerry Madsen does. And we also heard that Donny Schatz will be driving the number 15. So the 15 is going to stay. It's not like he's going to run the 2D or the 2S or anything like that. He's going to run the 15. I hope you like the thumbnail. I made it to where it looked like David Gravel's color scheme on the 15 as well. So my flight is still not moving, guys. And so hopefully we get on the plane here soon and head over to Fresno. And we race tomorrow with Highlander Racing at Tulare and at Placerville on Saturday. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you guys again here soon on the Rodman Rundown.